Hey, how's it going everyone? We're here with the latest offering from S.H Monsterarts, and that is Rodan, or Rodan, from Godzilla Singular Point, or SP, 2021. So this is the second form version, not the initial one, which is a little bit smaller. But so he was actually meant to come out last month, but unfortunately he was delayed, and with all the hype from SDC and the brand new Kong there as the exclusive, completely forgot about this release. And speaking of Kong, if you are in the United States or have someone who lives there, you can actually jump on the USA Premium Bandai website right now and actually pre-order that event exclusive Kong. If you haven't seen him yet, I do have a review video, or you can actually check out the review I did for TamashiiNations.com. He is actually really nice. I highly recommend it if you have the opportunity or access to purchasing. Anyway, let's just jump straight into this figure here. Now on the back we have a nice selection of images. Well, to be honest, he doesn't do too much. He's actually a very cheap figure. It's 5,000 yen in Japan, which is very cheap for a Monster Arts release. But he does come with a army of little wee small Rodans, which is pretty cool. Now I do have the Ultimate and Jet Jagger off to the side here, which we'll have a little bit look at next to him a little bit later in the video for a size comparison. Anyway, let's just pop him out of its box and we can actually see what he does come with. His packaging, yeah, balances up pretty well. So in the center here we do have the Rodan himself, which is pretty basic overall, but we will have a close look at that detailing in a moment. He does come with a stand and the attachment for him to I guess rest on, and then on the left and the right we've got, was it 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, so there's 8 in total of the little bit mini Rodans, which are on the bendy wires, which will attach to the stand. So yeah, I mean for 5,000 I think it's pretty good value, despite him being pretty small. The fact he comes with these little extras is pretty cool. Anyway, let's pop him out of this and we can set him up on the stand and have a look at that finish. So I've got him out of his packaging. We've got the stand, we've got the base, the pole. This just pops straight in there as one would expect, and it does have the ball on the top, and then the cradle will just snap over top. And I would assume this just rests straight on top. Yeah, okay, that's nice and easy. And yeah, let's put him into a pose and flick this turntable on. A little bit low. Okay, so we've got him in position here. So he's pretty small overall, but I feel like the scaling works out pretty good for the second form compared to the other figures. For his finish, you'll see on the wings here, it is, I don't know if I want to say weathered. Does have a nice gradient on the paint though, it goes from dark to light, so I guess you could call that weathering. It's more just that it has a gradient paint job. Then the extra detailing on him, which you can kind of see here, is just decals. And then on the underneath he does have some nice little bit spikes coming through, which is painted, and then same for his spine as well. We've got the nice red and white there, which is the kind of the same colouring styles as Godzilla himself, with the details there, and the what they call talons do move, and same with the detailing up his neck. And then the teeth are pretty well sculpted as well. Everything looks really clean and crisp, with a tiny little bit black dot on there for the eyes. So I think the overall finish is nice for a cheap, simple release. The stand itself appears to work really well. It's very similar to the other Rodan. Maybe even Mothra uses something similar. So if you've been collecting the line for a while, this shouldn't be too unfamiliar. So that covers the overall finish for this release. So let's just jump into some articulation. So first off, I do want to point out that I feel like this has a lot better articulation than the 2019 Rodan that we had for the King of Monsters movie. Starting with the head, he has a very nice range of motion and everything feels pretty good. So you've got 1, 2, 3 points where it can move. And then for the mouth itself, it's very pelican-like, and it does open decently far. Though I feel like if we had a little bit more range there, it could be quite nice. It does stop there for me. you may be able to push it further. At this point in time I don't really want to push it too hard just in case it does break, but you can at least get this far for the mouth articulation, which I think overall works pretty well. You can kind of imagine flying through the air doing that sound, or whatever sound a Rodan does make. Moving down to the wings, he does have one big joint in the torso and the main wing section, and this allows the wing to fully swivel up and down and all around. Overall feels pretty nice. Then we do have 2 extra points down the wing where you can rotate and swivel these parts. Now part of the reason for that is, if I remember correctly, I think you can swivel it around to the side like so, then up, and then if you bend its legs down you can kind of do that walking on all fours look when he is on the ground. So that is pretty cool. Swivel these back. Moving down the midsection here, we do have 2 points of articulation, maybe a little bit hard to see, but we've got one just on the lower abdomen area, which you can get a little bit of range going on, and then one down just, I guess, above his pelvic region. So you got some movement there. We don't get much left or right twisting because it is quite a tight oval shape. However, his legs will move. You can kind of swivel these all the way around, which is quite nice. And then the toe tips, or I guess claw tips, talon tips, do have a single point of articulation as well. So for a very small, cheap figure, he has some pretty nice articulation actually. I was quite surprised. So what he does make up with, I guess, kind of a cheap finish for those wings, and he does kind of make up with the articulation in other areas. So now that we've done the articulation, let's have a quick look at some size comparisons. So I do have, slide them over a bit more, we have Jet Jaguar over here. So this was the last release that we had for the Godzilla SP line. If you haven't checked him out before, I do have a full review if you want a closer look. He does have a full jetpack and other cool accessories, including his polearm. But for the sake of simplicity, I'll just do a review with just the base Jet Jaguar figure here. So kind of place him down on the ground a little bit. So if we have Rodan flying above, I feel like, yeah, they look pretty good together. If we kind of overlap them a little bit, I think the sizing works pretty nice. Let me know in the comments below on your thoughts for the size comparison for these two figures. Put Rodan back on the stand. There we go. Time for the beast himself. That is Godzilla Ultimate. He's so big I need to move Jet Jaguar out of the way and swivel Godzilla in here, and there we go. The two together, I think these look really nice. Actually, I think having two Rodan flying next to the Godzilla Ultimate here with Jet Jaguar coming in would make for an excellent photo. I was talking to Figure Mania today and also Daikaiju on Instagram today. I know both of those guys have picked up multiples of Rodan here, so I'm looking forward to seeing some photos from them. If you don't follow their accounts, go check them out. I will chuck a link below, but for badass Godzilla Kaiju photos, definitely worth following those accounts. But yeah, so this is, as I was saying, the size for Godzilla Ultimate. Bit limited on space here, so I can't move around too much without knocking something down. But swivel around a bit further, should be able to get a decent size comparison. I need to re-watch the show. I don't remember Rodan being this big in comparison to Godzilla Ultimate, but I know their sizes change and they do fluctuate a bit throughout the whole series. But the Rodan head here compared to the Godzilla Ultimate head is pretty much identical. So I don't quite remember him being this big, but in terms of figures and just being displayed on a shelf for photos, I feel like the size comparison and mixing and matching of these three figures works nicely. So yeah, that is the sizing for all these figures. Again, let me know below what you think about that. So one of the coolest things about this release are these really mini swarm of Rodans. Now these are attached to a bendy wire with a plastic coating down to a solid base, and it does have a peg hole here, so we can actually attach these to the base. If you're not familiar with these stands, they have a little wee kind of peg on the bottom which you can pop out. So I guess if we take this and it's pushed from the top down, it should snap in. Okay, check this out. We've got him on the stand here with his swarm. I wonder if they're called a murder of Rodan as well, like a murder of crows. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so one of the reasons why I think a lot of people picked up multiples of this figure is not only is it cool to have a couple of the different Rodans together, but you can also get, instead of 8, just double that up again, have 16 little wee mini Rodans flying around, which make a awesome photo. So definitely looking forward to seeing what the community comes up with for those photos. And if you take one, please do tag me in it so I can check it out. So yeah, I guess this comes to the pros and cons of this release. And first off, the pro, it was cheap. I mean, 5,000 yen for Monsterarts. I feel like that is pretty good value considering we get the stand and the little wee swarm of Rodan there, which is great. The overall figure itself, good articulation. The sculpting of the under flesh area is nice. The spine is good. The letdown though is the wings. I guess that will bring us to the main con. Some texture on the wings would have been nice. It's a little bit too plasticky, a bit simple. I feel like it does let the figure down. The body, fantastic. Wings, I mean the actual, I guess, bony part of it, does have some texture in there, which is nice. But when you look at these wings compared to the 2019 Rodan, yeah, there's a big letdown in that area, which is unfortunate. If they had have added in the texture, probably would have bumped the price up by an extra 1,000 or so yen, and then it wouldn't have been quite as attractive to pick up multiples of this release. So I feel like there's a little bit of give and take there. I feel like I'd rather have 2 of these figures than the texture, but that's just me personally. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments. But yeah, we'll just keep this video short and sweet and leave it right there. Normally I will have a bunch of photos of this figure for the end of the video and on rockchala.com. But unfortunately I don't have the time to do that this time. But the photos for this figure on Rockchala will be coming this weekend. But yeah, let me know not just what you think about this figure, but what figures have you picked up recently, especially in terms of Monsterarts. And if you are on Instagram or even Twitter, please do tag me if you post any photos, and yeah, show me your latest pickups. And yeah, I guess give us a, I mean, it's halfway through the year, let's have a top 3. Drop a comment below with your top 3 figures for this year so far. It'll be cool to have a read through that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, cheers! Sorry, some bonus content right here. I completely forgot to show the posed version of this figure when he is on all fours on the ground. So here he is. I mean, it works pretty well. The wings do look a little bit weird how they are posed up like that. But it is pretty cool that you can actually get him into this position where he is on the ground. I imagine a really cool photo of him kind of terrorizing some humans running along, with him chomping down on a few. So I may have to try and pick up some more of those. I think it's Tommy Tech 150 scale, the engaged train humans, and that'll be pretty cool to do a kind of a street rebel photo with this guy. Anyway, again, thank you very much for watching. Cheers!